Welcome. What is Roe v. Wade? What is abortion? A 1973 U.S. Supreme Court case, Roe versus Wade, affirmed that access to safe and legal abortion is a constitutional right. Before the ruling, there were hardly any abortion clinics, since abortion was criminalized in most of the U.S. The Supreme Court's 7-2 decision impacted laws in 46 states. Justice Harry Blackmun, the author of the majority opinion in Roe v. Wade. What is abortion? Abortion is the ending of a pregnancy by removal or expulsion of an embryo or fetus before it can survive outside the uterus. An abortion that occurs without intervention is known as a miscarriage or spontaneous abortion. When deliberate steps are taken to end a pregnancy, it is called an induced abortion, or less frequently induced miscarriage. The unmodified word abortion generally refers to an induced abortion. A similar procedure after the fetus has potential to survive outside the womb is known as a late termination of pregnancy, or less accurately is a late-term abortion. ROE versus WADE, 410 U.S. 113, was a landmark decision of the U.S. Supreme Court in which the court ruled that the Constitution of the United States protects a pregnant woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion without excessive government restriction. It struck down many U.S. state and federal abortion laws and prompted an ongoing national debate in the United States about whether and to what extent abortion should be legal. Who should decide the legality of abortion? What methods the Supreme Court should use in constitutional adjudication, and what the role of religious and moral views in the political sphere should be. Roe versus Wade reshaped U.S. politics, dividing much of the United States into pro-life and pro-choice camps, while activating grassroots movements on both sides. The decision involved the case of a woman named Norma McCorvey, known in her lawsuit under the pseudonym Jane Roe, who in 1969 became pregnant with her third child and wanted an abortion. However, McCorvey lived in Texas, where abortion was illegal except when necessary to save the mother's life. She was referred to lawyers Sarah Weddington and Linda Coffey, who filed a lawsuit on her behalf in U.S. federal court against her local district attorney, Henry Wade, alleging that Texas's abortion laws were unconstitutional. A three-judge panel of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Texas heard the case and ruled in her favor. Texas then appealed this ruling directly to the U.S. Supreme Court, which agreed to hear the case. In January 1973, the Supreme Court issued a 7-2 decision holding that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution provides a right to privacy that protects a pregnant woman's right to choose whether or not to have an abortion. However, it held that this right is not absolute and must be balanced against the government's interests in protecting women's health and protecting prenatal life. The court resolved this balancing test by tying state regulation of abortion to the 3 trimesters of pregnancy during the first trimester. Governments could not prohibit abortions at all. During the second trimester, governments could require reasonable health regulations. During the third trimester, abortions could be prohibited entirely so long as the laws contained exceptions for cases when they were necessary to save the life or health of the mother. The court classified the right to choose to have an abortion as fundamental, which required courts to evaluate challenged abortion laws under the strict scrutiny standard, the highest level of judicial review in the United States. SVG.PNG. Roe was criticized by some in the legal community, and some have called the decision a form of judicial activism. In a prominent Yale Law Journal article published soon after the decision was issued, the legal scholar John Hart Ely criticized Roe as a decision that is not constitutional law and gives almost no sense of an obligation to try to be. In 1992, the Supreme Court revisited and modified its legal rulings in Roe in the case of Planned Parenthood versus Casey. In Casey, the court reaffirmed Roe's holding that a woman's right to choose to have an abortion is constitutionally protected. but abandoned ROE's trimester framework in favor of a standard based on fetal viability, and overruled ROE's requirement that government regulations on abortion be subjected to the strict scrutiny standard. Why abortion? Reasons for procuring induced abortions are typically characterized as either therapeutic or elective. An abortion is medically referred to as a therapeutic abortion when it is performed to save the life of the pregnant woman, to prevent harm to the woman's physical or mental health, to terminate a pregnancy where indications are that the child will have a significantly increased chance of mortality or morbidity, or to selectively reduce the number of fetuses to lessen health risks associated with multiple pregnancy. An abortion is referred to as an elective or voluntary abortion when it is performed at the request of the woman for non-medical reasons. Confusion sometimes arises over the term elective because elective surgery generally refers to all scheduled surgery, whether medically necessary or not. Thank you for watching this video.